Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. I'm so excited that you're here. Happy Wednesday morning. We are still reading Open Your Mind to Receive by Catherine Ponder, one of my favorite books, an oldie but a goodie. And we have jumped ahead to the chapter on people consciousness because relationships are so important. In my mind, relationships at home, relationships at work, they're spiritual practice because the people in your life are always reflecting what's going on with you. And when you're tuned into that, when you're really tuned into it, then that's how you can grow and become an enlightened person, right? And enlightenment, whatever that means for you, for me, it just means freedom from fear, freedom from fear, freedom from the things that hold us back from living in the fullness of our lives. Anyways, welcome to Joy Code, your place for finding tools for finding more joy and balance, and also to the Joy Code Book Club. So the gift of people consciousness. She says, as a spiritual being, you are made in the image and likeness of the divine. You could say spirit, God, whatever works for you. Okay. Don't freak out. Some people freak out by the G word. It's okay. You have dominion over your world. So take a deep breath into that and sigh it out. So let's just know, this is how I like to read these books. Sometimes each sentence or chapter just gives me time to pause. So let's know on this Wednesday morning, or if you're watching it on Thursday or Saturday or whenever, let's know on this day that you really do have dominion over your world, over your inner world. And when you have dominion over your inner world, the things on the outside begin to change and reflect that. Doesn't mean that it's going to be a bed of roses all the time. That's not what it means. It's not what it means, people. But it means that you have the tools to come back to yourself when something arises that isn't pleasant. I mean, let's just face it. So this means you have the freedom concerning the kinds of people who come into your world and the kinds of people who leave it. You have freedom to change your world. So take a deep breath into that. I have the freedom to change my world. So Spirit is asking us today, what is it in your world concerning your relationships that doesn't feel good, that's not working for you? And know that you have the freedom to change it because you're made in the image and likeness of the divine. You're made of God stuff and stardust. That's what I tell people. God stuff and stardust. No, it's good stuff. But most people think the opposite. She says, this is really important. You can affect changes by first changing your people consciousness, your attitudes about people. So your attitudes precede you. Your consciousness, which is your thought and feeling nature, is the result of the ideas you have held in your mind, right? The thoughts that you're holding, the beliefs that you have, they form your consciousness. They form your consciousness. You can change your consciousness by changing the ideas you are holding mentally. So a lot of the law of attraction stuff is all about positive thinking, right? And being mindful of your thinking. Well, I'm going to tell you a secret. Positive thinking doesn't work if you don't really believe it. And I think you know what I mean. It's like, I'm going to attract $1 million, but you don't really feel like you can attract $1 million. It's not going to work. So it's really about understanding what your values are, what's really important to you, and addressing that. That's how you begin to shift your consciousness. And this is why on today, we're talking about how to attract better relationships and how to shift the relationships in your life that aren't working for you. And Spirit's speaking to me right now. I know that when we have a relationship that's not working the way that we would like it to, maybe you're arguing, you're in power struggles, maybe it's with your kid or your mother or your spouse or your boss, or maybe somebody that works for you that's integral to your business. That's very important to your business. And we're afraid that if we make a change, that person is going to leave. And that's an unintended consequence of us making the change. That's just your ego. That's just your ego. And what ego is how I interpret ego. Ego is a condition of separation from self. Ego is fear. It's a fearful state of mind. Okay, that's one aspect of it. And so your egoic, fearful mind is going to say, well, if I make these changes, then the people in my life are going to leave. And that's not necessarily true. That is, unless you want them to. You want your kid to move out of the house already. I know. So anyway, so that's just your ego keeping you from being in the fullness and allness of yourself. So that's what we're really addressing on this beautiful, beautiful morning. Instead of trying to change the people in your world, you should work to change your thoughts and feelings about those people. Now, this is integral. Your world is a reflection of what's going on, a reflection of your consciousness, a reflection of your attitudes, a reflection of your deepest beliefs about yourself. If you want to change your relationships, I'm going to get to how to attract better relationships. If you want to change your relationships, if you want to heal them, maybe you do want some people to kind of make their exit, right, out of your life. You need to change what's going on the inside, When you do that, the people in your world either respond harmoniously. I had someone explain it to me like, you start to smell like warm baked cookies and they want to come closer, right? They begin to respond harmoniously or move out of your life and find good elsewhere. Everyone involved is satisfied and blessed. Now, doesn't that feel good? Everyone is satisfied and blessed. This is what I tell people. This is why I tell you that the positive changes that you're making in your life, or that you want to make in your life, in your consciousness, in your attitude, the people around you are going to love you for it. Because this is what I'm knowing, that as you grow and shift, the people around you are they're going to feel it, they're going to see it, and they're going to think, hey, if she can do it, if he can do it, then I can do it too. As you grow and become the fullness of yourself, right? There's an acorn inside that already knows what it needs to be. And as you grow into that, as you grow into the big oak tree that you are meant to be, as you become more and more and more of yourself, you begin to have an energetic impact. Hear me now, because this is important. You begin to have an energetic impact on the people in your home first, in your family, right? Your extended family, in your community, which is your people at work, and then in the world. Your positive effect on someone else is going to maybe cause them to awaken. And then they'll begin to grow. And then it begins that we're shifting and growing all over the planet in a very positive way. I know for me, I would love for every person on this plane to be in the fullness and allness of themselves, because that's divine. That's their divine being, right? Everybody's happy and well loved and well cared for. So she goes on to talk about why problem people are in our lives. And she says, problem people are in our lives by divine appointment, though the appointment may not seem to be divine. Can I get an amen? Problem people are in our lives because we have attracted them to us for one of two reasons. First, problem people are in our lives so that we may bless them. And second, problem people are in our lives so that we may learn something from them. So this is what another aspect I wanted to share with you. After I got divorced and I started dating, Lord help us if you're dating. I know it's crazy out there, but it's because it's crazy in here, it's crazy out there. So when I was dating, I was attracting not great men into my life, really and truly. And so I had to ask myself, and this is what I'm offering to you. This is the part on how to attract better relationships. Could be romantic relationships, friendship relationships, work relationships into your life. So I had to ask myself, what is it about my consciousness? It's not personal. What's going on in my own consciousness that I keep attracting these same kinds of people, men, into my life? Men that don't value me. Yeah. Can you hear that? Men who are irresponsible, and so on and so forth. And so what I came to discover and what I'm offering to you is that they were a reflection of how I felt about myself on a very deep level. Let's take a deep breath into that. And sigh it out. Now, some of you may know that. You may be thinking, well, I already know it. Well, if you really knew it, you would have changed it. Okay. So know it on a deep level. Know it for yourself today, that the people in my life are a reflection of how well I love and value and care for myself. Now, it's okay. Nobody told you how to do this. Nobody told you how to do this. Nobody says, here's a relationship manual. Here's the self-love manual. We're indoctrinated into all this craziness all around us. And then we take it personally and we think there must be something wrong with me. Well, I'm going to tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the essence, with the being that you are. You are whole, perfect, and complete. And so when you want to attract better relationships, the most important thing you can do is address the urgent places where you're not loving yourself. Where are you not loving yourself? Where are you not taking care of yourself? Where are you not honoring yourself? Yes? Yes. No, it's good stuff. So when I realized this, and I realized it quickly, time's a ticking, and I wanted to attract my ideal person into my life, I had to think about being equal to what I wanted. When I was putting on my vision board, my ideal person, and he's this and he's that, and I had to then think, who do I need to be on the inside? I'm not talking about being somebody you're not, faking it. I'm talking about, where do I need to raise my vibration to be equal to that man? Because that man's not going to be attracted to a woman that doesn't love and care and honor herself. Okay. That man wants a woman with, positive self-esteem, that is, loving and kind, which, I am. But there were some other things that I had to work on. I had to be equal to the partner I wanted to attract. Now, hear me now, because this is also important for attracting positive people in your workplace and positive friends. If you have an ideal friend in mind, just a beautiful relationship, a beautiful companionship, you have to be equal to that. You have to be the kind of friend that person would appreciate. This is the inner work. This is what I mean about becoming an enlightened person through your relationships. That's why these books like Open Your Mind to Receive, right? It's not just about getting stuff and things. It's about you. You're being called to this book. You're being called to this video, to this book club, to this joy code, because you are awakening. You are awakening to your own magnificence. You are awakening to your joy. Isn't that beautiful? So let's see. I don't know that I have much else to share. I think we need to get on with our day. And she does go on to talk about how to release people in your lives. Like if there's someone that's really not working for you and you really want to release that relationship, how to bless them and release them, which I love that. And she also talks about how to release the people in your life that you love, because sometimes we can feel trapped. I oftentimes hear people say, well, my partner needs me for every little thing. That can feel like a trap. That can feel like a trap when you feel like your partner is 100% response or dependent on you for their happiness. So you want to release that. You want to release that and allow them to be in the fullness of their own independence. And she talks about emotional freedom. So the way I like to look at this book, it's written in little vignettes. And so each morning you can read just a little vignette, get your word for the day, and then go on. All right. So I'm going to leave it there. We're going to spend one more week. Next week will be our last week with Open Your Mind to Receive. And then we're going to move on to another book. I'm not sure which one I want to do yet, but I'm super excited about it. So let's take 3 hot breaths, get nice and centered and cleared, right? For a beautiful day. So inhaling and exhaling. And this time when you inhale energy up from the bottoms of your feet and down into the top of your head. Oh, that feels so good. And sighing it out. And then one more time, inhaling and exhaling. Good. And this is what we are knowing. Let's just know that we are attracting and releasing the right people into our lives. And in the meanwhile, we are growing and expanding in our joy, because that's what we're made for. All right, my beautiful friend, join me live every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure to leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. If there's a book that you want to read that we can read together, please, I'd love to know what your favorite books are. And also subscribe. Please remember to subscribe to the channel so that you will always know what's going on and stay up to date. All right, my beautiful friend, have a glorious day. Bye.